Welcome to the Grow Podcast. I'm Pastor Mike with New Hope Network. We're here to help you take your next step in your relationship with Jesus. I'm so glad you're with us today.
What's up, New Hope family? Welcome to this special episode of the Grow Podcast. Yes, my producer made an excited face, and he is right. It is a special episode of the Grow Podcast. Before we get into that, if you have been joining us and you've been enjoying it and you haven't liked or subscribed yet, if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Then you'll just automatically get notified when the new episodes go out, so you won't miss cool special episodes like we have today. And Pastor Mike, we have a special guest for our special episode. I'm going to see if I can say special between 40 and 80 times.
I was using it too much when we were preparing for the episode, and the producer told me that I was not allowed to use that word.
I'm nervous that the special is about me, so I'm like, let's not say special.
We have a lot to talk about with you, Hattie.
This is an intervention.
Boy, okay.
Hattie, welcome to the Grow Podcast.
Thank you.
We are excited to have you. You're only our second guest.
Two's my favorite number, so that feels very appropriate.
2 is your favorite number. Yep. Why is 2 your favorite number?
I don't know, it just is.
Okay.
So I'm glad to be the
Because
second
Brian Dozier
guest.
wore number 2. Shout out to Brian Dozier.
Definitely.
I'm sure he's a huge fan of the Grow Podcast.
There's a Sesame Street song. Now we're really going
This is a very special episode of the Grow Podcast.
All right, I won't sing it. I'm going to hijack this one, though, because this topic is one that is very near and dear to my heart. One of my first focuses as a pastor was this particular topic. I was hired at a church in Michigan, the second church that I worked for, and my specific task was to build small groups and to help people discover the meaning for small groups. And that's really what I've been doing now for 25 years. And the teaching we have around New Hope and across our campuses is, we say there are 3 big tools that God's given everybody to help us grow. Get in a gathering, get in a group, and use your gifts or serve. And we've been talking a lot about groups. And just as we were talking, I was talking to some of our campus leaders just recently. One of the things we realized is we just need to maybe press pause and answer a couple of big questions, I think big burning questions. And the first one is, we've been talking about the fact that we all need to be in small groups. And people expect me, as Pastor Mike, to say, here's why you need to be in a small group. And they're all going, of course you would say that, Yeah. But I want to answer, and I'm talking to both of you, so I'm asking the questions this time, David. I'm just saying,
Deal.
So we're turning the tables. I want to hear from your experience of why you would say being in a small group is necessary for your own spiritual growth, and how you've discovered that. So whoever wants to dive in and answer first.
I think Hattie really wanted to.
Great.
talk.
She nodded her head. All right.
I was thinking back to when I first decided to follow Jesus, and I got into a group right away, not really knowing that was kind of the natural progression. And for me, that was just such a good time to be able to ask the questions of, what does it mean to follow Jesus? How do I live a life being a Christian? And to have other people around me who were able to answer those questions, and it felt like a safe place to do that. Man, I just needed that, especially when I had first become a believer. Now, I love my group for so many different reasons. It's still a place where I can ask questions because we do that all the time. But it's just a place to do life together. If one of us needs something, the other people are there for us. When we're struggling with something, it's an opportunity for us to come around them and pray for one another. Just when life's hardships come around, to have people who can sit with you across the table and be like, I've been there too. Here's what I did. Here's how Jesus helped me during that time, and then be there for that person is so good.
It's it almost sounds like a greeting card, when we say those things, but it's so true how much we need those things. How about you? How would you answer that?
It's just the exact same way. It was word for word. That was great.
Way to get off the.
That's why we had Hattie here, because she has all the answers. No, I would echo a lot of what she said, but we talked about it a little bit last week, Pastor Mike, on the podcast, or I guess a few days ago on the podcast, because it was a special episode. But when the Bible's talking about how they came around each other, they did life together, they you almost become a family. And I've experienced that a few different times. We've talked a little bit on the podcast about just when I went through a really difficult time in college, and almost like a non-formal small group had kind of formed just with friends I had at my college. And they're the reason that I was able to start the process of being pulled out of this depression I was in and this painful season, to use a real churchy term. But, they're the ones who came around me and made sure that I didn't sink. And then when it comes to like formal small groups, signing up at church and getting connected with a group. But, at different times in my life, it's been different. Sometimes it's been like what Hattie was saying, where we're a young family and we have young kids, and we have people in our small group that are older than us that have had kids, and we've just learned over the years watching them and learning from them. And then we go through it and we can go to them and say, my 2-year-old won't stop screaming at me when I tell him to, go to bed. Like, what do I do? And you just, you kind of live that life together. But similarly, when you're hurting or going through a difficult time, I've just had so many times where our group has come around us, sometimes financially, sometimes just with love, sometimes with just, hey, we'll watch your kids and get out tonight so you can just refresh a little bit. But just so many different ways that they become our family. And for us, moving away from our family as we have, that we've just seen the necessity for that group. And honestly, we had this incredible small group in Minnesota where we lived, but I think we kind of took it for granted because we lived where my wife had always grown up, and the state I was from, both our families were nearby. And so it's just this other awesome thing that we had. And then we moved to Oklahoma and we had nobody. It was, oh my word. And then all of a sudden we had this small group at our church of just our family. I mean, they're our Oklahoma family. We will have family there for the rest of our lives because of that. And now we've experienced the same thing here in North Dakota too. So family when you don't have family has been our experience, especially as we've gotten older and moved away.
Family when you don't have family. And that's what church is supposed to be. And I'm going to ask the question in a moment, it's especially for you, Hattie, of, how do I find a small group, and what if I can't find a small group? What do I do, especially specific to New Hope? But we've talked, about the reasons why, and I think I would be neglecting if I didn't just press pause and say, this isn't just experiential, this is scriptural. Yeah. This is God in himself is community. The very first part of the Bible, it says, let us, talking about the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, one God, three persons. He is community within himself. He says, let us make humanity in our image. It's the Imago Dei. We're actually going to talk about that in our next series. We're made in the image of God. We're designed to live in community relationship with him and need each other. And that's just the fundamental thing, let alone all of the needs and those kinds of things. So here's a question, because I've struggled sometimes, even as a pastor, finding a small group. And, people, whether you're part of New Hope or some other church, you say, I can't find a group. How do you go about maybe finding a group? I didn't warn you on this question.
Didn't.
Yeah. How do you go about finding a group and you just know it kind of fits? And maybe from both of your experience, how have you found that?
Well, I think it goes in phases a little bit, because I've been in groups that I know the importance of being in community. And so even though it wasn't like experiences I've had before, it's still so important. So even if it doesn't feel like that group are like, those are your people, it's still important to be in a group regardless. But are you talking about practical ways to?
Sure, either way.
Yeah. If you go to our website, you can check out, there's a good handful of groups that are meeting right now.
So newhopehere.com.
/groups. Yes.
Great
wow.
job.
You guys are on top of your groups. And there's different ways that you can search on there by location and online, different days that they meet. And that kind of helps narrow down some of the options as well.
And I think, for me, some of it is just trying a group. Some of the groups that have been great for me were groups that actually I really didn't choose. It's like, okay, I know I need a group. That's the best fit. All right, I'm just going to try it. And the first, 6 times, honestly, my wife was dragging the introvert me, to it. But what if you can't find a group that fits you? Or there's, I just need some other parents or singles or others around me. What would be the next best step for that? Because we talk a lot about next best steps on the Grow podcast.
A great next best step, which maybe people listening won't like the answer to this, but you can start your own group.
But I could never lead a group on my own, right? I mean, that's the first thing we throw up, right?
You definitely could, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where a lot of our minds go. Like, I can't lead a group. I don't know everything about the Bible or how to pray in front of people, or, but you can. You know, I think if you like people, which I think, yeah, David's questionable, but you lead a small group, and sounds like you have a good time in your small group.
Every once in a while.
Yeah. If you like people and you can read a small group study guide, you can definitely lead a group.
Yeah. We always say if you can ask questions and just invite people to be part of your life, you know, you can do that.
Yeah.
So practically through New Hope, if someone says, I can't find a group, I think I want to begin a group, maybe I'm hesitant to begin a group, how would they go about that?
Yeah, we would love to walk with anybody who's considering that. So you could call our office. The number is 572-4673, or shoot the discipleship email and just say, hey, I'm interested. And we can talk to you about meeting places, get help with all the details, find a study that's would fit you.
Do I have to go through 6 weeks of training?
You don't.
Oh, no. Sorry.
No.
Your groups maybe
That was that just for me?
That's just what we required Dave to go through.
I'm still caught up on that. You have our phone number memorized. Is that something as staff we're supposed to have? Because I definitely
Let me help you with this. 572-HOPE.
Ooh.
Did you know that?
Didn't know
Did
that.
you not know that?
No.
But
There you go.
nobody uses the letters anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
I'll still forget it.
Yeah.
What did you ask? I forgot.
Do you have to go through a 6-step training class?
We do prefer all of our group leaders to go through Gateway. If you're looking for a group right now, though, we would say jump in. We'll figure out the details later and make sure that you do go through one of our discipleship courses. But yeah, if you want a group, we want to help you get started. So we'll do what we can. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't that long of an episode or a special episode, but we really want to emphasize groups are one of the 3 primary public tools. Of course, we'll talk on the Grow podcast and talk in upcoming things about the private kind of tools, but 3 biggest tools God uses to help us grow. And you need to be in a group. And I know how easy it is to come up with all kinds of excuses. I know of pastors all over, myself included. It's like, you know what, I don't have time. I don't have season right now. And we're denying ourselves and really saying, no, God, one of the primary ways that you designed to help me grow, I don't think either I'm good enough for it or I think I'm too good for it. And we desperately need this. So find a group, get in a group. Big thing, start a group. And if you're at any of our in-person campuses, especially our Williston campus, find Hattie in our lobby on our Tioga campus. Find Isaiah. He'll help you do that. For New Hope here, for our online campus, let our team know, and David or our team there will help you. We've got online groups. How does that work, by the way?
There's different ways that it works. It could be over Zoom. There's one thing that I think we're about to try because Right Now Media, which we do a lot of our small groups through, has added a feature where you can do the group with video and chat and everything right in Right Now Media. So I think we're going to try that with this upcoming small group that we have, which there's a small group available right now that you can sign up for that Brock and Erica Romine are leading, and they're the coolest. So check that group out. But there's a lot of community that can be built over Zoom. And I think a lot of us really experienced that too when everything was shut down. And I know Hattie's talked a lot about her group continuing to meet, over just looking at a screen, and then you couldn't believe how much community you still could have, even though you couldn't be in person together, but you were still face to face.
And let me help, because I'm in the older age bracket now. Let me help.
No,
some people are saying, that's for young people. Actually, some of our most successful online small groups, when everything was shut down, were not primarily.
I'm not going to say any names, but there were some older women on there who were really good at inviting their friends and their neighbors and their sisters' kids who live in a different state to join. And
we had families that were able to be part of this. And I love the Right Now Media, where you can get on, you can talk, you can watch a 15-minute video teaching the other, and still have discussion. That's That's incredible. I mean, Disney Plus has this, right? Where you can watch it with family, friends. So
It does.
I think the church should
So
have
you
it
can
too.
Definitely.
use Marvel for your small group if you want to.
Wait a second.
Is that what you were
Wait,
saying?
no, I don't
No,
think
is that not what we're doing? Okay, that's my mistake.
There's a potential commercial there for a Christmas series, Christmas at the Movies.
Ooh, that's
Where
a
we're gonna
long
tell- Yeah,
Spoilers.
that's a long tease, but we'll just throw that one out there. Some great things that are up and coming. So, bottom line, get in a group. If you can't find a group, we will help you
We would
find a
love
group.
to help you find a
And
group.
I don't care where you're at in your spiritual life. You are capable. If you're capable of having any level of conversation, you're capable of leading a group, and we really mean that. Really want to help that, and that's how you will grow best. That's actually our homework for this special episode. Did I just take that question away from
No.
you, host?
No, I'm not hosting
Yeah.
this episode. You
So,
hijacked
I
it
don't-
about 12
yeah,
seconds in.
I
so.
did, and I have no idea how to close it now because you're the expert closer. So how do we bring this thing in for a landing?
Well, yeah, let's make sure we're all getting in a group. And like Pastor Mike was saying, maybe we need to be praying. Is there a group that I should be starting? Are there people that I could be inviting to join my group that maybe they wouldn't come with me to the building on Sunday, but they might come into my house and have a meal and talk about God for a bit. So let's be praying about that this week. Remember that growth always starts with a next step. So let's make sure we take that next step, make sure we're involved in a group. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.